In the lead-up to one of the most anticipated bouts in modern boxing, tensions ran high as accusations and bravado painted the air with controversy. Stephen Fulton Jr., the reigning super bantamweight champion, made headlines not just with his fists but with his words. His opponent, Naoya Inoue, known globally as the Monster, had climbed weight classes with surgical precision and chilling power. Yet despite Inoue's storied resume and thunderous knockouts, Fulton dismissed his challenge as overhyped. "He's too small for me. He's too short," Fulton claimed. He mocked Inoue's reputation and achievements, reducing the Japanese star's fanfare to mere nationalistic hype. Worse still, he publicly labeled Inoue a cheater, alleging loaded gloves and illegal hand wraps. "I refuse to let my fighter get in the ring with someone that has loaded gloves," he proclaimed, even claiming he had proof on his phone. It was the kind of pre-fight storm that set the stage not only for a contest of physical prowess but also one of pride, perception, and legacy. Inoue, for his part, carried himself with a calm resolve that belied the intensity of the moment. This was not a fighter unaccustomed to pressure. In fact, pressure was where Inoue thrived. This was a man who had, time and time again, dismantled elite competition. His rise to prominence wasn't a product of marketing or nationalism, but of unrelenting dominance and surgical execution inside the ring. He delivered a brutal performance in his first major bout on U.S. soil, knocking out future world champion Jason Maloney in the 7th round with a right hand that echoed throughout the division. That fight wasn't just a win, it was a declaration. His rematch with the legendary Nonito Donaire ended in just 2 rounds. For most fighters, beating Donaire once would have been a career highlight. Inoue not only defeated him twice but also obliterated him the second time around, neutralizing a Hall of Famer with frightening ease. Then came the final chapter of his campaign at bantamweight, a dismantling of Butler to become the undisputed champion of the division. The belts, the accolades, the knockouts, Inoue had done it all. But the truly great ones never settle. To secure his place in history, Inoue moved up to super bantamweight, targeting the division's kingpin. Stephen Fulton Jr. Fulton was no paper champion. His rise had been forged through adversity and triumph. His war with Angelo Leo earned him his first major title and showcased his grit and skills under fire. He followed that by unifying the WBO and WBC belts with a narrow, hard-fought victory over Brandon Figueroa. He was a slick, adaptable fighter, fast hands, sharp reflexes, and the rare ability to adjust mid-fight. His skill set made him one of the most respected fighters in the sport, and at 122 pounds, he stood at the top. That made the matchup between Fulton and Inoue an encounter of global consequence. Both fighters were considered top 10 pound-for-pound talents, each with ambitions beyond just belts. But as the date drew near, the drama outside the ring took center stage. Fulton and his camp fixated on Inoue's hand wraps, repeatedly accusing the Japanese champion of cheating. Even as they attended the official hand-wrapping ceremony, all eyes were on every inch of tape and gauze applied to Inoue's hands. Yet nothing illegal was found. Every step followed regulation. The allegations evaporated into baseless noise. With the wraps cleared and the officials satisfied, there were no more excuses. Only the ring awaited. From the opening bell of round 1, it became clear that the fight would not play out according to Fulton's expectations. The early moments were tactical, as both men used footwork to gauge distance and timing. But even in these measured exchanges, Inoue began to impose his will. He was the smaller man on paper, but inside the ring, he fought like the bigger one. His pressure was intelligent, his movement fluid, and his timing impeccable. Every attempt Fulton made to establish control was met with sharp counters and evasive maneuvers. Inoue's jab snapped Fulton's head back repeatedly. Though not all-out aggression yet, there was a clear direction in the fight, and Inoue was steering it. Round 2 saw that control expand. The rhythm and speed of Inoue's attacks left Fulton guessing. The Philadelphia native, known for his poise, began showing signs of frustration. He couldn't find his timing. Every time he stepped forward, he was met with resistance, sometimes in the form of stinging jabs, other times a three-punch flurry that ended before he could answer back. Fulton's footwork, once an advantage, became a liability as Inoue read his movements and cut off the ring. The monster was moving in and out of range effortlessly, landing with frightening accuracy. His speed was not just physical, it was mental. He was processing every movement, every adjustment, faster than Fulton could anticipate. By the end of round 3, Fulton was already behind on the scorecards, and more importantly, visibly shaken. Round 4 offered no reprieve. Inoue began digging at the body with hooks that echoed through the arena. He wasn't just winning exchanges, he was dictating the pace, the terms, and the geography of the fight. Fulton looked stuck between plans, unable to commit to an offensive burst without getting punished in return. His jab had been nullified, his movement read, and his confidence visibly eroded. Inoue was, round by round, dismantling his opponent's identity as a fighter. Round 5, Inoue was starting to show flashes of creativity. He was no longer just countering and pressuring, he was styling. The crowd gasped every time he landed a clean shot, and though Fulton managed to land a few of his own, they came at great cost. Every success Fulton had was met by a flurry of return fire that re-established Inoue's control instantly. At this point, the gap in ability was undeniable. It wasn't just that Inoue was winning, it was that he was making it look easy against a fighter who had been, until then, seen as elite. In round 6, something shifted. Inoue wasn't content just dominating anymore. He wanted to make a statement. Fulton had questioned his integrity and had accused him of cheating. Inoue wanted him to pay for that, and in this round, he began investing even more into bodywork and power shots. It was a systematic escalation, and Fulton had no answers. Despite his heart and effort, he simply couldn't keep pace. The arena could sense it. Something definitive was coming. Fulton, to his credit, refused to fold. He kept his guard high, tried to return fire, and stayed in the pocket longer than he probably should have. But by round 7, the punishment was starting to wear on him. Inoue was now walking him down, pressuring him without fear of retaliation. It was an emphatic display of dominance. His offense was relentless, but his defense was just as masterful. Whenever Fulton threw combinations, Inoue slipped, parried, or countered. The crowd rose to their feet as Inoue began stringing together combinations that bordered on the theatrical, punches that landed with accuracy and venom. Then came round 8. Fulton was still upright, still fighting, but the spark was gone. Inoue had drained him mentally and physically. And then, in a sudden flash of brilliance, Inoue landed a monstrous right hand. Fulton crumbled to the canvas, the first knockdown of the fight and the defining moment of the night. To his credit, he beat the count, but the damage was done. Inoue saw the weakness and, like a predator sensing the end, closed in. A barrage of punches followed, each more devastating than the last. The referee had seen enough. He stepped in and waved it off. The fight was over. In 8 clinical, dominant rounds, Naoya Inoue had silenced every doubt, every insult, and every accusation. He didn't just beat the champion, he destroyed him. He took a man many saw as unbeatable at 122 pounds and made him look ordinary. It was a performance that solidified Inoue's status as a generational talent, a fighter who belongs not just in the conversation of pound-for-pound greatness but perhaps at the very top of that list. For Stephen Fulton Jr., it was a harsh dose of reality. His skills, his achievements, and his heart are undeniable, but on that night, under those lights, he met something greater. Naoya Inoue didn't just take his belts, he took his aura of invincibility. It was a masterclass, the type of performance that shifts careers and changes legacies. As the dust settles on one of the most complete and dominant wins of recent years, the boxing world is left to recalibrate its understanding of greatness. Inoue is no longer the rising star from Japan. He is the standard. And after beating a world-class champion in such fashion, there's little doubt that his name belongs atop any pound-for-pound list. Whether you rank him number one or not, one thing is certain: Naoya Inoue is a fighter for the ages.